So let's start with how is Airbnb different? There are lots of other websites on the internet, booking.com, Vrbo, Expedia, TripAdvisor, and it is really important to understand how is Airbnb different from the others. The first difference is you can rent a shared space on Airbnb. A shared space is if you want to rent a room in your main primary residence. So if you're living in a 3-bedroom apartment and if you want to rent 1 bedroom within your main primary apartment, you can do so on Airbnb. No other website in the world allows you to rent a room like that. This is how Airbnb started. It still remains in its essence, but having said that, Airbnb is not purely for shared spaces. 70% of the properties on Airbnb at the moment are entire properties. These are entire apartments, entire houses, cottages, and stuff like that. The next difference is both traveler and host get to review each other on Airbnb. Airbnb started this practice and it was very unique. Up until that point, the entire hospitality industry was one-sided, where only the traveler gets to review the hotel. But this was groundbreaking. You can literally see people's travel history by looking at their Airbnb profile and how they have behaved in the past. A lot of other websites are now trying to copy the same model of reviews where both the parties get to write a review for each other. But unfortunately, on all other platforms, booking.com, TripAdvisor, people do manage to get fake reviews. Whereas on Airbnb, to be able to write a review, someone has to stay in the property. A few hours after the checkout, both the parties get an invite from Airbnb to write a review for each other. This is the only way of writing a review for a property on Airbnb. And because of that, there cannot be a fake review on Airbnb. The other difference is Airbnb does not remove reviews. They won't remove a review just because you don't like it. It is kind of impossible to remove a review on Airbnb. However, you can write a public response to the review and you can share your side of the story, but they will not remove reviews. And I believe that is a good thing because when you're looking at a property on Airbnb as a traveler, it gives you the confidence that there is no possible way the host could have managed to get rid of some bad reviews. Good or bad is all there. But in summary, Airbnb does not remove reviews. And the last difference is host insurance. Airbnb gives you two kinds of insurances. The first one is a liability insurance up to $1 million. And the second is you get a damage protection insurance, again up to $1 million. This protects you against any damage done to your property due to guest negligence. No other website gives the kind of protection Airbnb offers. No other website gives you any kind of insurance for a protection against damages to your property. You can set a damage deposit on all other websites, but if you look at it, a damage deposit cannot be sufficient to cover the cost of replacing everything in your property if there is an extreme circumstance. That is why I believe Airbnb does give you an advantage over the others, where everything in your property is covered up to $1 million. And it really does work. Me as a property manager, I raise claims all the time. People do spill wines, they do spoil my pillows and my towels up to an extent they cannot be washed. And when that happens, I raise a claim via Airbnb and Airbnb compensates me either for repair or replacement of that item. And the other insurance is the liability insurance that covers you for any kind of liability. For example, if someone breaks their leg during their stay, Airbnb will cover the cost of fighting a liability claim if the person decides to sue you, up to $1 million again. So these are the 5 points I believe help Airbnb stand apart from the rest. Anyone who is new to short-term rental industry, I recommend starting with Airbnb first, just because you have so much protection. And once you have gained experience in managing property, dealing with guests and all those factors, you can slowly start moving to other platforms which are a bit complicated and do not give you sufficient protection. But start with Airbnb if you're new to this and gradually roll out to other platforms, which I will cover later in the videos. I will see you in the next video.